Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, I'm attempting to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a look today at a Deep Purple box set called Shades, 1968 to 1998, spanning 30 years of their career. At the time, obviously today being 2020, the band has been around for 52 years at this point and still seems to be going strong, but when they first started out, they were not seen as the pioneers of heavy metal that they are today. They first formed in '68 as a psychedelic or progressive rock band and released 3 albums with Rod Evans fronting them. Shades of Deep Purple being their first one, and they would release 2 more, Book of Taliesin and a self-titled album. They also had a number 4 Hot 100 single with the song Hush that was a Joe South cover song. And then the follow-up single was a Neil Diamond song called Kentucky Woman that went to number 38 on the Billboard Hot 100. So they had a lot of success very early on, but in 1969, John Lord and Ritchie Blackmore met with Ian Paice to discuss their desire to move in a heavier sound. And so deciding that lead singer Rod Evans and bassist Nick Simper were not a good fit for that, they decided to replace them with Ian Gillan on vocals and Roger Glover on bass. And despite this desire to go in a much heavier sound, the first recording that they actually made was much more in a classical vein. It was the 1969 Concerto for Group and Orchestra, which was a 3-part movement epic composed by John Lord. And so the first foray into the heavy hard rock sound was 1970s In Rock, which featured the classic concert opener Speed King. And the follow-up album Fireball came out in 1971. From those sessions, they released a song called Strange Kind of Woman, and it was a non-album single. Later it would appear on the Fireball albums going forward, but at the time it was a non-album single. And then in 1972, it saw the release of their career-defining album, Machine Head. And this one here contained the singles Highway Star, Space Truckin', and of course the all-time classic Smoke on the Water, which I think just about every guitar player knows. Now, also in 1972, they released another career-defining album in a live album called Made in Japan. And back in the 70s, live albums really were seen as an ultimate sort of thing and could really make bands. And in this case, it just really solidified Deep Purple in their standing. Now, in 1973, the classic Mark II lineup would record one more album together, Who Do We Think We Are, which had the song Woman from Tokyo on it. But unfortunately, with tensions in the band, Gillan quit and Roger Glover was dismissed. The band would replace Ian Gillan with an unknown at the time, David Coverdale, who would of course go on to much bigger things with White Snake. And Roger Glover would be replaced by former Trap Ease bassist Glenn Hughes. And they released 2 albums together with this lineup, Burn in 1974 and also Stormbringer in 1974. But Blackmore felt that the new direction of the band, which was going in a much more funky direction than what he wanted in terms of the hard rock styling, was not what he wanted to do, and so he quit in 1975 to form his band, Rainbow. And Blackmore at that time would be replaced by former James Gang guitarist Tommy Bolin to record this album here, Come Taste the Band, in 1975. But following the release of this album, I think the band at this point was just burnt out, and so they broke up. Now the classic Mark II lineup of Gillan, Blackmore, Glover, Paice, and Lord would reunite in 1984 and record this album here, Perfect Strangers, which was just a huge album at the time and a really big bombastic comeback for them. They released another album together, House of Blue Light, in 1987, before those tensions would arise again, and Gillan was fired in 1989 due to the souring of his relationship with Ritchie Blackmore. And at this point, they brought in former Rainbow vocalist Joe Lynn Turner for the 1990 album Slaves and Masters. But by 1993, for the band's 25th anniversary, the Mark II lineup reunited again and recorded this album, The Battle Rages On, which I think is a quite prophetic title considering the volatility and nature of all the band members from that lineup. But that same year, in '93, Blackmore quit the group, and so they brought in Joe Satriani to replace him and do the tour. Unfortunately, Joe Satriani declined to join as a full-time member, and so they brought in Dixie Dregs guitarist and former Kansas guitarist Steve Morris. And they recorded the 1996 album Perpendicular with him, which is one of my personal favorites of the Steve Morris era. And they also recorded 1998's Abandon. And that brings us up to present day in terms of the box set from 68 to 98. And this box set here, as I said, spans 30 years, but what I like about this is that it covers all their albums and all their lineups. And a lot of times these greatest hits, box set types things, tend to skip over periods and lineups or certain albums that weren't as successful, but they actually cover all of that here. It's 4 CDs, 62 tracks, with 19 rare or previously unreleased tracks. It's got single versions, non-album tracks, demos, extended versions, edits, outtakes, and live recordings. And I'll give you a little rundown here of the tracks. It's disc 1 kicks off with Hush, then Help, Shadows, which is a demo, Love Help Me, instrumental demo, Kentucky Woman, single version, Anthem, River Deep Mountain High, single version, Emeretta, The Bird Has Flown, which is a single version, Hallelujah, Speed King, which is a full-length UK version, Child in Time, Cry Free, which is an outtake from 1970, and this is a Roger Glover remix too, Black Knight, which is the full-length UK version, Jam Stew outtake, Into the Fire live 1970, and No 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 live 1971. Disc 2 has Strange Kind of Woman, I'm Alone, Fireball, Demon's Eye, Anyone's Daughter, Fools, No One Came, Freedom, which is an outtake, Slow Train, which is an outtake, Never Before, When a Blind Man Cries, Highway Star and Smoke on the Water, Pictures of Home, Space Truckin', and Painted Horse, which is an outtake from 1972. Disc 3 kicks off with Smoke on the Water live, Lazy live, Woman from Tokyo, Mary Long, Super Trooper, Smooth Dancer, Burn, Might Just Take Your Life, Sail Away, Cornelius Rigg, Stormbringer, Hold On, Lady Double Dealer, live from 1975, Getting Tighter, and Coming Home. Disc 4 kicks off that 1984 reunion period with Knocking at Your Back Door, Perfect Strangers, Son of a Lurk, which is a 7-inch single version, Call of the Wild, Bad Attitude, which is a single version, Hard Lovin' Woman live, Hush 88 version, which is live from 1988, King of Dreams single version, Fire in the Basement, Slow Down Sister, Battle Rages On, Enya, A Castle Full of Rascals, and Seventh Heaven. So this is the front cover of it. One of the things I always liked about this box set was the landscape style. Instead of the traditional ones that are vertical, this one was landscape. And I like the way this is, and we'll open that up in just a second. You can see all the track listing I was just reading there off the back. And it opens up in that landscape style, and you've got the book here that slides out, and I'll show you that. And then the 4 discs appear like this, which again I thought was a pretty cool thing, the way this lifts up like that to do that. Let's take a look at this booklet. The booklet again is in the landscape style, and it's got a lot of really great photos and things in it, but what I like is, one, it's got the really great history in here written up by Mick Wall, but it's also got a track-by-track run through by the band members giving stories and things behind those tracks that are in here. And it's really great to get that behind the scenes sort of stuff and a little bit more information to the specifics of each of the singles or songs that are included on here. And then in the back of this, it does have a, there you go, a full, showing of all the albums and things that the band had released, including a lot of albums and things that are unreleased. But as I said, they do cover something from all of those different albums and periods of the group, which makes this collection really nice and concise and, covering of the whole history, which is really great. And since 1998, the band has released 4 more studio albums. John Lord did leave the group in 2001 and was replaced by Don Airey on keyboards, who of course is known for having worked with Ozzy Osbourne and Rainbow. And in 2016, the band was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as they should have been all along. And their 2020 album Whoosh is actually due for release August 7th, so I'm certainly looking forward to that. And as I said, just from the fact that they've got this next new round of an album coming out, certainly showing no signs of stopping here, which is really great. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and I hope everyone has a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.